side control position, work in 4 basic positions. Number 1 is 2-on-1. Number 2, head and arm variation. Number 3, body and arm variation. Number 4 is an overhook top position. Okay. To break it down, number 1, 2-on-1. Knees are going to be wide. One knee on his hip, one knee on his neck or head. Triangling your legs so your feet will come together behind you. So one knee on his hip, one knee on his neck, feet come together. This is avoiding him trying to trap my leg. So he brings his leg over and traps it. All it does is slow down my compression. And so we want to keep our feet triangled from the knees to our feet. 2-on-1 means 2 arms are controlling his 1 arm, looking for submissions. 1 elbow tight to his neck, 1 elbow tight to his body. Trying to find that submission with this arm. Okay, our base for now is called a floating base. My chest is on his solar plex, just floating for now so we can transition quick. Number 2 position is a head and arm variation. Going under as high as I can with an underhook under his far arm, so it's really tight. If my arm's too loose, he can pummel in and get the underhook back. So I need to get this elbow, we call elbow deep, as high up into his armpit as possible. Opposite arm goes under his head. Bring your 2 hands together. The positions are, you can go figure 4, hand to wrist. You can go a clap hands grip, or like a gable grip. You can go chain link. It all depends on the size of your opponent. So I'm going elbow deep, really high up into his armpit to avoid his pummeling underhook. Under his head, I go figure 4. I go clap hands, or like a gable grip, or I can go a chain link. Chain link's the weakest. This is the tightest. Okay? 3 different hand positions. Again, knees wide, feet brought together, and my head is tight and buried. That's the head and arm side control position. Number 3, I'm going to cup his front delt with my far arm, again keeping that high underhook. Reach back, pull his tricep out from underneath me, and I slide underneath. It's like a baseball slide. Position, I get my knee high under his upper back. This helps, it almost makes it bridge proof. If his back is on the mat, he can have much more power when he's trying to bridge to escape. So I pull his upper back up off the ground by pulling his tricep into me and get my knee high up underneath the high of his back. Opposite leg, we post it out. We call it a kickstand leg on the ball of the foot, pushing into, again, the middle of his body, his solar plex area. Trying to restrict his breathing somewhat, staying heavy on his body. Pull that arm into your body so you're kind of pulling his tricep right into your rib cage. Keep that really tight. Okay? And lifting him up into you and keeping your head tight. This is the body and arm position. Number 4 is an overhook position. Overhooking the far arm. So I shift my base, I go far over, deep, elbow deep over his shoulder, palm up, dig into the side of his body. Block his near side hip and shift my legs. So I'm going to have one knee bent with my knee to his hip, near hip, blocking with the palm of my hand. My near leg is perpendicular to my head. Straight up on my head is, again, a kickstand, so I'm pushing into him. And again, staying heavy. At this point, I'm a little bit higher on his body. So my body is crossing his neck. Again, trying to stay heavy so it's harder for him to bridge. Okay? Blocking the hip so it's harder for him to maybe pull guard. Okay? So again, number 1 position is a 2-on-1. Number 2 is a head and arm. Number 3, body and arm. And number 4 is an overhook position. These are 4 basic positions from side control. All right, from a different angle so you can see where my legs are going to be. Again, for the 2-on-1, I'm going to form a triangle with my knees and my feet. So one knee on his head or his neck, one knee on his hip, and my feet are brought together from behind me. It's almost like I'm sitting on my heels. Here's my 2-on-1. One arm tight to the neck, one arm tight to the body or hip, and controlling, looking to attack this arm. With a floating base, body on his solar plex. Number 2, the head and arm. Again, with the 3 different hand positions. Figure 4, clap hands like a gable grip or chain link. Again, feet brought together from the knees in a triangle position. Floating base for right now. Body and arm. I'm pulling him up into me. So I'm cinching my elbow into my body. I'm pulling him up into me, grabbing his tricep, high of his tricep. Front delt on the opposite side, grabbing his front delt. With elbow deep on the underhook so he can't pummel in. Okay? My knee is bent under the high of his back, so I have like a 90-degree angle, maybe extend a little bit more from the knee to my foot. Opposite foot, this is again the kickstand foot. This is what helps put pressure into his body as I'm across the solar plex. Ball my foot, knee bent, it's like a kickstand, I'm pushing in, and my head is tight. Overhook position, again with my feet, I have a bent knee, and then a kickstand leg. So spin around. Spin all around. So from the overhook position, puts his legs down so you can see. Overhook, tight, elbow tight, deep under his armpit. My hand is palm up, digging into the side of his body so there's no space. Remember, when you're on top, for the most part, you want no space. Guy in bottom's trying to create space. My knee is bent, so it's up against his hip. Palm of my hand is cupping his hip as well. Here's my kickstand, knee slightly bent, pushing in the ball of my foot, and my body's across the high of his chest to even his neck. Again, to try to eliminate as much as we can that bridge capability. Staying heavy, and my head is tight. This is the overhook position. His knees come up, and this is what we're looking for here, position number 4.